Welcome to High Performance Group Coaching Strategy Session. Want to make sure we're dialed in, live casting today, taking care of you, rocking it out. Get this thing, make sure we're on focus, ready to go. And yes, we are. You're running a one-man show. What you got to do, take care of biz. So, why is high performance important when we really think about life? And so many people don't even know what high performance means. Getting into the conversation. I think the best way to start this is for me to just share my particular story. Back in 2011-12, I had battled this weight thing, basically from 250 down to, I would say at the lowest I got down to 202. And then I just skyrocketed back up. And it wasn't so much the weight for me, it was the energy for me and making sure that I was dialed in. Make sure we got our connection and we're rocking it out. One man show. There we go. All right, good. It was really about making sure we were dialed in for the long term. Knowing my goal was to make sure I had high levels of energy and I was taking care of my body, but also I was the best dad I could be. Being from that mindset, I've shared this so many times with our beautiful mastery community and all these beautiful people I've had the honor of coaching over the years, that it was about legacy and it was about being the best for the future. At the same time, 2010-11, so many of the people, just a generation in front of me, were running into issues health-wise based on decisions and habits they had made over the years, you know? And I'm seeing the writing on the wall and I'm like, you know what? I had, at the time, pre-diabetic, major, just eating the wrong things, sugar issues, wasn't exercising consistently, didn't even understand like the essence of what the human body is composed of, water, making sure that I'm hydrated, all these kind of things. So I don't know, I was kind of floating out there, not really on any kind of path. And a coach of mine who I hadn't talked to in maybe 2 or 3 years said, Charlie, let's go out to lunch and just catch up. And inside that lunch, I want to say it was February 2011, maybe February 12, somewhere in there. She said, have you heard of this guy, Brendon Burchard? And he seems to be really on it and taking care of things, not only from the perspective of what we would classify as what we're talking about here today, high performance, but also online launches, making money online, essentially. And I'm like, no, and I wrote his name down wrong. And I went into my computer that I put it in my medium priority to-dos. That's how I kept track of things at the time. And I said, I'll definitely get in and look. And I remember it was about a week later, and I sat down at my computer. I was just like, oh, you know what? Let me go into my medium priority to-dos, see what I can knock out. And I typed Brendon's name, and it was typed wrong. And next thing you know, 3 hours later, and I know this has happened for a lot of us if you've been in his realm for a while. 3 hours later, I had pages and pages of notes. And then I was able to get this book, The Charge, and boom, instant upsell to High Performance Academy, a recorded version of his live event that really helped me see the potential of what was possible. Just telling you this gives me chills because here's why. One of the biggest questions that was asked was the question of when was a time in your life you felt the most loved? And I got to tell you, I was like blown away with that question. And almost immediately, it was my grandparents, my grandma. And I went right to an incident, or not an incident, I guess, a moment in time when I was in first grade. And I walked in the door, and Grandma had all my favorite things. She had windmill cookies. She had bananas carved like, in circles, so they look like quarters. She had carrots. She had she just full of love. Char, I made this for you. I know you love it. And then she said, Char, I've got some things set up in our craft room. So I got a couple options today. And I just remember thinking, wow, just through that question, I brought more love into my being and focused on, an amazing time in the past. And that was my start in high performance. And I was like, okay, well, let me dive into this. And I remember going through the live training, the recording of the live training, and then doing timestamps and sharing clips with my team. Dudes, you got to see this. Ladies, we got to see this. And really helping people understand. There's these things that Brendon had researched and tested and measured and whatever else that just hold true for living a simpler life. Does that make sense? Let me grab this real quick and make sure we're set. Go. Are we good? Yeah. One man show, baby. You gotta do what you gotta do. So the essence of it was this. what the heck is high performance? And I was questioning that in terms of my approach. We're going to go through that in a little bit. And then why is it important for me to live into what the premise of high performance is, premise of personal development, self-improvement, is to live from a place of knowing who our best self is, knowing that that's what it looks like right now, but also knowing as we go forward in time that our version of our best self can continue to evolve and grow to be even better. It's what we call the growth mindset, right? It's where you're just like, you know what? I'm on this. I know these things now, like the basics. I probably should hydrate, probably should get more sleep. Back then, if you've heard my story, I went from being the night owl for 40 plus years to getting up at 6 a.m. and owning it, meaning that I went to bed at appropriate time, got up, and I'm like, who is this guy with all this energy? Just from changing sleep, right? And then eating better, and finally got that dialed in 2013 and really owning that. But I was feeling so much better. And then I got this exercise that I'll challenge you to do right out of the gate here. So if you have your notes out, make sure you write this down. It's like, what is the best version of me in terms of my self-care, in terms of what I'm thinking, in terms of what I'm viewing, what I'm listening to? And when I say those things, I'm thinking of like YouTube videos that inspire you, podcasts that inspire you, all these kind of things. And just really saying, you know what? This is the things that I aspire to do or be every day. And sometimes a lot of people that I work with, they can't think that way because they're so far in what we like to call the struggle, the challenge, the frustration of life. So maybe you have to start with, what are the things I'm doing now that aren't the best version of me? And maybe you get a sheet of paper out or a note or a Pages document in Mac or a Word document, and you just start one line, here's the worst version of me. Here's the things that, you know what, these things just don't serve or support me, right? And I just want to make sure we open with that conversation because that's the essence of what high performance is. And I want to give you some more illustration. High performance is where in leadership roles, and keep in mind, we're leading ourselves, we're leading our family, we're leading friends, we're leading teams, we're leading whatever it is, you know, if you're involved in contribution, it's influence. And the definition that I love, Brendan shared this way back 2011 for me, or 12, somewhere in there, is manipulation is influencing people to your benefit. But high performance influence and persuasion is influence or helping people to their benefit. So I talked about this in our health, wealth, and happiness training recently. And I said it's the selfless versus selfish conversation. Now there's certain things you want to be, we'll call it selfish with, taking care of your body, taking care of your sleep, just so that you can, in the line of what we talk about in high performance, be better for others, serve others, help others, right? But on the backside of this, really critical is to assure that our primary mode or drive or goal every day is improving other people's lives somehow. So if that resonates with you at all, you're gonna love what we're gonna go through in this strategy session, because it's kind of dipping our toe in to what I like to call the core competencies. So just so you know, if you want to read a book that parallels everything we're gonna cover, the book to read is High Performance Habits. It goes over what we call the HP6. We're gonna go over 5 of these 6 things today. So the highest performers, they have these 5 things dialed in that we're going to cover today, and I'll talk about the 6th one in the book. The first thing is they're ultra clear about who they are, how they are when they interact with others, and what they are, who they are at a successful level. Does that make sense? They have ultimate clarity. Clarity removes overwhelm and distraction and stress. They're also incredibly clear about what gives them, supports them for sustained energy for the long term. More explicitly, emotional, mental, physical vibrancy. These kind of things. They're also incredibly clear about being courageous, not being like mean, but being courageous, saying what needs to be said in a positively, and I always like to use these words, feel free to make them your own, a positively stern way. You know, if I was going to illustrate that for you, it'd be something along the lines of, well, I'll give you a great example. When I used to have the conversation with my ex-wife around money, it was a conversation that went like this. Hey, I got to talk about money with you. And I knew that it would ignite her. But look at the energy that I was putting out, right? Now, when I step into that conversation, and especially in the last decade, since doing this work, I'm like, hey, you know what? Got to talk about money. And if is now a good time? Usually it isn't. Okay, well, I'll call you. We'll set up a time to just go over a couple things. And it's that confidence, and I would dare say for me, courage, because that wasn't who I ever was. And also the idea that I'm being positive, controlling for open, meaning that, if now isn't a good time, then now isn't a good time. I'm good with that. In the old days, I would control for result. Now it's got to be the time. With that face. And so these are some of the things that I really want to make sure for you that you see as we touch the rim of what's possible from the high performance perspective. So if you need more clarity, if you're looking for ways to just have more sustained energy, total side note, I was just up in Michigan with my beautiful sister, brother, my stepmom and dad, and my sister, and a couple of them said, dude, you have way too much energy. And I challenged them. I'm like, maybe you don't have enough. Keep up. Let's go. But it's just through the practices over the last 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, I guess, for me, in high performance that's really helped me have that. So my dream, my job, my desire, my goal for you is to propel you, especially over the next year, the next decade, to have more sustained energy, to be clear about what you're going after, to be clear about things that aren't supporting you, and then have that courageous conversation. If you have to, maybe it's just with yourself, and know the best practices for that. Tools, tips, those kind of things. So we're going to cover this today in our time together. Next thing is being productive. In the high performance space, being productive is not just getting stuff done like our responsibilities, but it's defining our dreams, our goals, our ambitions, and working towards those while handling our responsibilities. The easiest way I can put it, if you're new to personal development or self-improvement, is to have a bucket list of maybe adventures you want to go on, things you want to do, and then allocating time, we call that time blocking, per week. Even if you can't do those things, but to plan for it, to actuate it, even just to sit and visualize how fun it's going to be and how what you got to do to get there, and then just really going after it. For a lot of the entrepreneurs I serve, it's that idea of, okay, I'm going to make a business and I got a job to do. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't see this because they're brand new to that whole space. But in my space, 32 years entrepreneurial, great success, 32 years, but help thousands of others, is the first thing we got to do is sort out how much do we need to bring in so that we get to a level of break even and go after it. And that can be part of productivity as well. Does that all make sense? So I just want to make sure I frame the difference about high performance productivity and kind of what people perceive it as. And it's my absolute honor to have coached over 3,600 sessions at this point and have helped so many people through just those first few sessions, first few topics. So just so you have a lay of the land, in this strategy session today, we're going to just tiptoe into these areas. In the bigger picture, if you're sensing that you need more help in these areas, then I challenge you to fill out the application and we can talk about what that can look like for you to go deeper there. We got a couple options. We got group coaching, where you can even self-study your way through it and then be in our live casts, or we can do one-on-one. Now, my schedule is pretty booked up and through like the middle of 2020, but I have a lot of CHPCs in my mastery community, and then people that are they're CHPCs, certified high performance coaches, who can help you, and they may be paired. There's a lot of people who have specialties. Like for me, it's entrepreneurial. So if I'm illustrating clarity and it's a desire, a goal, a dream for you, I will use entrepreneurial illustrations in our coaching that will help you and make you see around corners or dream bigger. See around corners you wouldn't already see. Did you think about this? Did you do this? Let's challenge you on that. And also dream bigger. Because my purpose on this planet, this was defined in high performance for me, is to help you from where you're at to where you want to be in life, in business, and online. Now, when I write that out, I always put an asterisk by B, because so many people, they don't dream big enough. They're so used to being in the space of, I'm just trying to survive, trying to go after it. They aren't dreaming big enough. That makes sense? So I just want to make sure you see, if you do not have what we like to classify as a growth friend in your life, you do now, and that's me. And I just want to make sure you feel it, see it. I hope you're feeling that trust, that love, that compassion, that enthusiasm for you and your future, going after it. So the last thing we're going to cover today is influence. Really understanding what it means to be of influence to the world, to those you care for, love, serve, and yourself. When I ask people like, who is it that you want to influence? A lot of people say myself. I know I'm not influenced myself to be the best I could be. So this is a big part of the conversation. That all being said, I just want to thank you so much for being here with me, just listening a little bit here as we step into the strategy session. Now I'm going to challenge you, and I also challenge you like on the different topics, but I'm also going to challenge you to take notes and understand Okay, Charly says this is a theme. Maybe you write down a theme, and I'll go over a couple of them in a minute. And then Charly says, I got to think about this, or I'm challenged to do this. Most importantly, though, I challenge you to take action. Like, take decisive action on the things that you're challenged to do, and just assess how you feel. My goal, my dream, my desire for us in this session is to assure by the time we're done, at least one thing, new thought, new idea, new challenge comes into alignment for you, and you do something with it. You up for that challenge? Thank you so much for being here, being on this journey with me, rocking it out. So that being said, let me give you the lay of the land of high performance coaching, and then we'll go over the definition, what it feels like, and then we'll step into our work. Does that sound all right? Thank you so much. Excellent. High performance coaching, the way it works is there's 3 different segments of 12 sessions. So we call the first 12 the core sessions, and we go over what I just talked through: focus, clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence, psychology mastery, physiology mastery, productivity mastery, persuasion mastery, and we end with purpose and presence. And that's the 12 sessions for that. The basic book that sort of kickstarts that, if you're not committed to coaching or anything just yet, totally cool, is High Performance Habits, book on the left. Goes over what we call the HP6 and break those core competencies down for you, and has great prompts and questions and everything in there. Second set of sessions is the charge sessions. So we build off what we've covered in the core, in the high performance habits realm, and we go into the charge, which are 10 human drives that make you feel more alive, engaged, joyful, energized, vibrant in life. Things like change, challenge, creative expression, consciousness, contribution. All these things, when you assess yourself in these areas and we talk through illustrations of how to really go after it, really help you feel better in life. And it's the way it works is each one of those sessions is 1 hour, and there's session work that we do in terms of a coaching kind of conversation, if you will. So you'll be challenged, we'll talk through things, we'll illustrate, those kind of things. And then at the end, there's session work for you to do that deepens your commitment on each of the topic areas. So for example, in creative expression, there's a quiz that you take, the creative expression quiz, that assesses whether you feel you're expressing enough, whether you're creatively expressing enough in your life and going after it. Does that all make sense? The final sessions, as of now, are the declarations, which are based on the Motivation Manifesto. So in those, it's kind of more a philosophical journey, one topic per session: advance with abandon, love and gratitude, slow time, reclaim your life agenda. All these topics that, as you, hopefully you're feeling it, they stack to bring more awareness, more consciousness on why living into and defining your best self is important for you for the long term. So many people are like, dude, you've been below 200 pounds since July 25th, 2012. How did you keep it off? I said it wasn't like a diet. It was me getting clear about who I wanted to be in the future and kind of reverse engineering it back to what are the behaviors that support that. So literally, and I hope this illustration helps, literally when I look at food, I see my 5-year self down the road. And if I eat too much of, let's just say it's a donut, right? If I put that in my face or near my face, I'm like, my brain works like in photography, right? It morphs me into my old big guy self. Low energy, high sugar level in the blood, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'll have a bite, but I'm not gonna eat the whole thing. Not that I'm depriving myself from some of the things that this beautiful world has to offer, but that's the shift in the mentality. And I just wanna make sure you feel it and you see it. Is that exciting for you? So here's my challenge for you right now before we get into today's strategy session. What is it that I've shared so far? Maybe it's around clarity, around energy, around courageous. Maybe you gotta have a conversation with somebody. Maybe it's time to shift a relationship, around being productive, maybe defining your life's goals, maybe defining bucket list at the simplest form of what that can mean. Maybe you've got to influence people and you're like, at work, the team, they don't respect me. My teammates are like, they're not listening to me and all these kind of things. So I just want to make sure you kind of have a frame. What is it right now that you feel you need the most help with? If you're watching the replay or you're live, feel free to comment, because this will really inform me and what I can do to help you as we move through our beautiful journey. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into a couple of the themes, and then we'll step into the actual exercises. Like I said, in our time together, we got about an hour. We're going to just go through and hit the notes on these topics. Clarity, energy, courage, these kind of things. Just to kind of dip your toe in high performance. If, and it's my challenge for you, if at any point you feel like, you know what, I need more of this in my life, we've got a lot of options for you. Comment, email, message me, get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to go over those options for you. Here's what I know. High performance has helped me be 100 times better leader in all my entrepreneurial work. High performance has helped me be the most present, caring, compassionate, loving, unconditional loving dad I could have ever imagined. If you want to see that in action, challenge you to go to my Instagram, instagram.com/CCALDWELL, the number 2. It's basically C Caldwell 2. And just take a look. You'll see life as it's been for me. And this isn't fake, this is full authenticity. As I've stepped into this realm of being true to who I am. You see a guy who's very focused and very clear on who he needs to be in every aspect of his life. Don't think that I don't have struggles, got tons of them, but I handle them. And I don't have bad days, I have bad moments. Through high performance, I've been able to pivot to create what I like to call like a standard operating procedure for my mental game. My dream for you, if you have a bad day, if you say anything like that, is you have a checklist that says, my severity of bad day is 10 out of 10. All right, here's my things that I need to do. So for me, just so you have a frame, I want to make sure I'm giving you value too. If it's really bad, I get in my car and I go to the beach and I walk the beach until I feel better. That can be 20 minutes, that can be 4 hours. Doesn't matter. Then I go to a place that I love, a place to eat, tranquil, continental in Naples. I mean, I've heard that story about how Chad and everybody there take care of me, and we just sit and I like to reflect on the positivity of life. Just those two things, take that severity of bad day, bring it down fast. But here's the thing, when I was younger, I knew that about myself, I didn't take action on it, and I would stew in the bad day. Does that make sense? And if that's you, then we got to work to do. Today's gonna help, but if you really need help and you're seeing a lot of that show up, please let me know. I'm here for you, take care of you, help you. We will rock that together. That's my promise for you. Cool? That being said, let's jump into strategy session. So welcome to our high performance journey, how to get the most out of our time together. Here's the critical pieces, and I would challenge you to do this in anything in life. No distractions. So make sure if you got any buzzers, beepers, notifications turned on, turn them off, put your phone in D&D. Let's just take this time together in the next hour and own this discussion for you, because don't you deserve it? The world's filled with distraction. Guess what the highest performers know? I'm putting that over there. I'm focused on one thing in this next, we'll say 50-minute time block. One of the things we teach is time blocking, and make sure that I own it. So no distractions. Second, take notes. Star any questions, put them in the comments below. If you're in our mastery community, we'll be doing, after this live cast, we're gonna be doing a Q&A, and I'm here for you. So I'll coach you, help you, whatever that is. If you're not, let me know. Maybe we can set up what I like to call a 20-minute discovery to just handle whatever shows up for you in our work here. Totally fine. Next, be open and vulnerable. This is a trick for a lot of people who aren't used to this. Behaviorally conditioned to just don't ask, don't tell. Never talk about it. They just sweep it under the rug. Da, 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 da. In this context, and this may be the only place for you where you have a safe zone. This is a safe zone. And I want to make sure that you, if you haven't felt it yet, that you feel the love, the trust, the care for you, the compassion for you, empathy for you, so that you feel we're on this path together and we're going towards this. And you got support, maybe for the first time in your life. I've been honored to have people tell me that many times. And I just want to make sure we're taking care of that for you and we're owning that for you, whatever that is. You know, you may be struggling with something and you're like, this has been on my mind for years. And if that's the case, let's talk about it. You don't have to do it in public, meaning in the comments. Just pop me a note. We'll get on a quick call, 20 minutes, whatever. We'll just have a conversation. Please know I'm not going to bring judgment. I'm just want to listen to what's showing up for you and see what we can do to help you, to really transcend, to get maybe bring some closure to that and go on to the next step. That'll make sense? I hope so. Next, make sure you participate. If things show up for you and you want to share, comment. If you're watching the replay, make some comments. I'll have prompts for you to do that as we go through this journey today. But I just want to make sure you are expressing and you know the people that are going to watch, you're empowering them, they're loving on you, they're taking care of you, those kind of things. And of course, know this, me, my mastery community, the people that are in my circles, we're all here for you. So if you have any desire to learn more about how we can support you, take care of you in life, in business, online, down below the video there's some links. Make sure you fill out the appropriate one. And if you don't know what the appropriate one is, make sure you send me a note, comment, whatever it is. I will take care of you, direct you, and go after that with you and help you own it. Does that sound awesome? Thank you so incredibly much for being here. Let me just do what I do and help you down this path that you may have not known existed towards your better tomorrow. Because here's what high performance coaching is in a nutshell. Creating better futures for you and everybody that we work with. I like to think about it from the Disney perspective. I don't know if you've ever been on the ride, the Carousel of Progress at Disney, but the song in there, you know, those catchy Disney songs goes, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. And my job on this planet is to help you get clear on what that great, big, beautiful tomorrow is, have a positive belief expectation, have a vision for it, but take decisive action, whether that's mindset work, positive psychology work, whether it's, living into your best self, starting an entrepreneurial endeavor that you feel strongly about, getting guidance on how to do that properly, whether that's just being the best person you can be for yourself, for your family, for your friends, those you care for, love, serve, or even the world, whatever that is, we're going to take care of that. That awesome? I hope you're feeling it. This is amazing stuff. So what is high performance? Let's kind of take a step back here. I kind of painted the frame for you, but here's the definition. High performance is succeeding beyond the standard norms consistently over the long term. Now let's break that down. What that means, if you break it down in a simpler fashion, is just constantly leveling up. You get to a level of a norm and you're succeeding beyond it. So there's this idea, like sometimes I use the analogy of a building that has endless floors and you're going up, and every time you go up, that floor is built in solid, meaning that you've furnished it, you've finished it, and then you're on the next floor, and it's not furnished and finished, but you're working on it. And then the next floor and the next floor. Now don't get me wrong, sometimes you fall down a few floors and you got to come back up. All part of the journey, right? But it's the leveling up process, but you're doing it consistently over the long term. And that's the tricky part. Now you're doing all this while maintaining well-being in positive relationships. So I'd love for you to assess right now, when you think about this definition, have you been leveling up in the last month, the last 3 months, the last year, consistently? What are the practices there for you? Have you been maintaining well-being for you and others and positive relationships? If you need help with relationships, I just did a training on it. I'll make sure to link to it in the replay and take care of you that way. Really, really critical though, that you understand there is a way to sort of put goodwill in the world and be clear about what you want and watch the world respond in an amazing way. And I go over that in that training. It's actually on YouTube in my channel. It's how to create, build, and even let go of relationships. And it will be really helpful for you, as I think it's one of my very best trainings. Love for you to get into that. I'll make sure in the replay I link to it for you too. So that's the definition. Now what I want to go into is what it feels like. So what does it feel like to live a high performance life? I hope you're excited about this. Excited? Oh, I'm so excited to go over this with you because I live this every day. It's the ongoing feeling of full engagement. So full engagement with whatever's showing up. Like right now I'm with you. I wanted to do more prep work for this session. Life has been showing up in major ways for me and many people I serve. So didn't get all the prep work, but I'm going to be here and help you. We're going to go through it together and take care of this for you. We'll just do it a different way. Totally cool. But I'm going to be fully engaged in the process, and I'm going to be bringing, and I hope you're sensing it, joy and confidence as we go through this journey together. Does that all make sense? So these 3 areas. Now, challenge for you, and if you want to participate, feel free. Assess in the last month, how engaged have you been in different aspects of your life, the different roles of your life? Just engage in your self-care, engage with your love if you have one, engage with your family, your friends, your mission, as we call it, like your work that you do to get compensated, maybe your contribution, your finances, your hobbies, your spirit. What I just went over, by the way, are the life arenas that we kind of assess life through those lenses to see how we're doing in the context of these. And maybe you rate yourself. Common coaching move is to say in the last month, I'd give myself 9 out of 10 of full engagement. And where I fell apart was here, here, and here. I got to watch out for that in the future. I'll make sure that I have a trigger to go after. Where I found out joy was here, here, and here. Is that consistent? Is that a common denominator in my life? Or was that just a one-time thing? Or did I not get enough rest? And that's why I kind of fell out of joy. So we're asking these kind of questions as we think that through. Where am I not confident in life? You know? Where's my confidence dwindled or tanked? And that's a really critical question as well. So anything showing up for you? I'd love to know if you share your ratings for the last month. 0, nope. Do not have full engagement. I'm distracted and asleep or dead. Joy? No, I'm walking around like a negative nanny. Just, I can't even think about joy right now. Confidence? Nope. Whoosh, just don't have it. So if it's low for you, like a 3 or a 2, my challenge for you is reach out to me. We can have a conversation. I call it a discovery session. It's basically 20 minutes, and we'll get to the bottom of just a little bit of that for you. But I think through today's work, you're going to sense how that can be. You're going to sense when we hit clarity and when we hit energy and these kind of things, what that can mean for you. Does that all make sense? That comes from, and there's that C word again, consistently living from your best self. So as I alluded to earlier in our time together, have you defined your best self? Do you have a sheet of paper or a vision board, if you believe in vision boards and you like the creative aspect of that, that says my best self? And it has, for me, it would have a picture of the beach. It'd have a picture of my loves. It'd have a picture of me in the studio here. It would just be, these are the elements that compose me living my best self. Be me in the gym, me walking in the park, running in the park, these kind of things. Maybe you don't have that, and that's fine. Maybe it's easier for you to start with my worst self. These are the things that I just know I do that need to change. I would challenge you to write them out 1 line each and then pivot to my best self. Meaning that you have your worst self. Let's just say back in my day, I was drinking 3 to 10 Mountain Dews a day. Over here, I'm hydrating with a gallon of water a day. Worst self, best self. That make sense? Just the basics. But that's what it feels like to live in high performance. And I hope you sense and got something out of just that exercise. So high performance strategy, let's go. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through and ask you some questions, and I'm going to illustrate for you in the 5 different areas I went over: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. So to start with, from what we've covered and what you sense, I would love to know, what does high performance mean to you? If you want to participate, if you're watching the replay, feel free to just, high performance means these things. And you can use some of the stuff we've talked through, or just say, you know what, high performance to me is this. So for a lot of people, okay, grab a little water here. For a lot of people, when they think about high performance, they think about fast cars, right? They think about just moving through life with a smile on their face, clear direction, going after their dreams. And that's all fine. Other people, high performance means I'm fueling my body with the right foods that gives me that lean, clean energy throughout the day. Maybe they're in sports, maybe they're not, but they want that lean, clean energy. And that's one aspect. We would call that in our work, the physiology section of our work, the energy section. So is anything coming up for you? If there is, share it. Another question for you, are there any areas of your life where you feel you're not performing your best in? So are there any areas of your life where you feel you're not performing your best in? My challenge for you as you think that through is to ask why and what can you do about it? So I would love for you to say, you know what? I'm not performing my best in my relationship. Okay, why is that? I'm not bringing the appropriate amount of energy. Okay, why is that? Because by the time I get home, I'm whipped. My love, my family, whatever that is, they want more from me than I can give. What can I do about it? Hope you know the answer. High performance coaching. But really, when you think about it, what can you do about it? All right, I probably need to get more sleep. I probably need to dial up what I'm doing that doesn't support my energy. A lot of people, they're having a lot of sugar throughout the day and they have that just crash. Maybe I need to move. So when I get home, before I go in, I got to get out and exercise, just bring energy into my body. So I hope you're sensing some options here. But I'd love to know what your challenge is for you. If this is showing up, the things we've talked through, what is the challenge that's showing up, and what are you going to do about it? Cool? So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into clarity. So in the clarity work, would love for you to assess how clear you are right now about who you are at your best, who you are when you interact with others, and what your success, like what it means for you to be successful. So let me go over that one more time. Clear about who you are at your best, who you are when you interact with others, and what it is for you to be successful. And I'd like you to rate yourself 0, not clear on any of that. 10, I'm clear on that. The work, if you're in high performance coaching, in session 2, clarity, we go over what's called the clarity chart. And we define words that set that aspiration for you. Does that make sense? We're going to do a little bit of that in just a minute. So, first question, are you clear about what makes you happy in life right now? Like, what makes you the happiest? Is there any reason you don't have more of that in your life? So are you clear about what makes you happy in life right now? What makes you the happiest? Is there any reason you don't have more of that in your life? So I want to sit with that for just a little bit. Think about it. Maybe make some notes. I got to tell you, once I got clear on what makes me happy and maybe the happiest, then I'm a strategist. So I'm looking at ways to engineer life to have more of that. So more fun with my girls. That makes me ultra happy. More giggles and laughs. How are we going to do that? YouTube prank videos, not the kind that hurt people. But sit there and do that. Playing games on video games. We love to play video games that don't hurt people, like shooty kind of games, but that are fun, like Rocket League on the PS4. These kind of things. Once I got clear on that, it pivoted my schedule, the way that we show up. You may not know my story, but I have my girls half the week. That's the arrangement for the last, 14 years. And when we're on Sundays and we're like, what can we do to make us happy? It's movies and popcorn, it's Rocket League, it's these kind of things. But I'm really conscious about putting that in my life for us. Does that all make sense? Really, really powerful. Are there any areas of your life that you're truly unhappy with? So now we're pivoting. We're going to go down that path. We did the happy piece. Now what are the areas we're unhappy with? What are you the unhappiest about? What could you do about it? So are there any areas in life you're unhappy with? What are you unhappiest about? What can you do about it? You follow the dialogue? I don't know what's showing up for you, but I'm going to tell you, with a lot of people that I've had the honor of serving, they would report relationships. I think that's probably the number one thing. They have, and maybe they haven't defined it, but what usually comes out of they have better or higher expectations out of a relationship. They have the rules of the game of the relationship. Maybe they haven't defined it, but they're like, things aren't, our values are different. We're not playing by the same rules. But they also haven't defined it. So my challenge, if you're having relationship issues, is to sit down for yourself and say, what is the qualities, characteristics, and traits of a relationship that's amazing? And are my relationships in alignment with that? Or what do I got to do to get in alignment with that? Sometimes you just got to live into those traits. Like for me, I have to be present, compassion, caring. That's the essence of a great relationship for me. And I got to live into that. How can I do that? I've trained myself. No phones, full presence with you. I've trained myself. Beepers, buzzers, they're off. That stuff can wait. Right now, full presence. So I hope you're seeing how that can add clarity in that one small aspect, or a big aspect actually, relationships in life. So that's the second question in the clarity section of us dipping the toe in clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence. Third question, do you feel you have a clear mission or purpose in life right now? If so, what is it? Have you written it down and, pivotal to the high performance conversation, shared it with others? So let me say that again. Do you have a clear mission or purpose in life right now? What is it? Have you written it down and shared it with others? Because here's what we know about the highest performers. They are so clear on what they're up to. They're so clear on the path they're going, and they just are like, at least the ones I've been around, including myself, they're so enthused and engaged and energetic about it. You just are like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I want some of that. And they're on the path of that. But they've put in the miles, the time, the energy to define that, to get clear about it. You follow? So I hope this is kind of opening things up for you. If you're like, dude, I'm a mess. As we like to say in our firms, I'm a hot mess. And I have no clue about any of this. Where do I start? Then we need to talk. There's an application link below, and it kind of goes through a lot of the things we're talking about and has you rate yourself. But it also asks some powerful questions, and that sets the stage for how I might be able to serve you, support you, and take care of you towards getting more clarity. That all make sense? So I'd love to take and do a teaching point right now. And let me see. Yes. So this particular exercise, really critical. I talked a little bit about it a moment ago. Creating 3 words that describe you at your very best for yourself. So if your strongest you is coaching you, what would they say to you about, you know what, at your very best, Charlie, you are this, this, and this. I'm going to give you a minute before I share my words with you, but I really want you to think about this. What are 3 words that describe me at my very best? And they should be stretch words for you. They should be something you aspire to be, something you aspire to do. So my 3 words: present, caring, compassionate. Present, caring, and compassionate. These are the 3 words that I aspire to be and step into and own as I think about me being my very best in any circumstance. Even if I'm just by myself. Present, caring, compassionate for me. You follow? Now, if you're not sure what the word compassionate means, one of the definitions is to recognize a struggle and have a desire to alleviate it. So if I'm with somebody, compassion is like, hey, what are you struggling with? Do you need some help? Helping them alleviate it. If it's with myself, recognizing, I'm struggling with this. I need to take better care of myself here. I need to do whatever I need to do in the context for what the issue is. I hope that helps. So what's your 3 words? If you're up for it, share it. If you're watching live, share it. If you're watching in the replay, feel free to share it there. Just put those words out there. My next challenge for you, though, is to take each of those words, think about the last week, and rate yourself how well you've been living into those words. 1, not living into it at all. 10, crushing it. So if I was to rate myself in the last week for presence, 9. And it's been tricky. There's been a lot of stuff showing up in the last week. For care, probably an 8. I think I could do a little better here and there, where I was just getting in my head a little too much. Compassion, I'd say about a 9. Because I'm on that. Like all day yesterday I was in calls up until 11:30 at night and just helping beautiful people in my circles. Just taking care of it. Like literally, I don't know how many calls that was, probably 6 or 7. Just taking care of people, doing what I do, living purposefully, rocking it out. But I was present, caring, compassionate that whole time. And trust me, about 9 o'clock, I'm like, done. But you see how the words propel the emotions? Really critical. So let's step into the energy conversation now. So the question is, are you happy with your level of mental and physical energy each day? Why or why not? So think about that. Are you happy with your levels of mental and physical energy each day? Why or why not? Take a moment and think about that. Give yourself some time with it. Oh, yeah, baby. So many people struggle with the energy conversation. Like just big time. Sometimes it's diagnosed as certain issues. Other times it's just bad habits. Going to bed too late, getting up, doing responsibilities, not being enthused about what we're doing over time, tags our energy, these kind of things. If you decided to have more energy and get in the best health of your life this year, what habits would you start right away? If you decided to have more energy and get in the best health of your life this year, what habits would you start right away? Now, when I went through this way back, 2013, 12, somewhere in there, I was like, whoa, I'd probably dial in my sleep. I understand I need to drink more water, probably have that on hand. That's why I have these insulated bottles. And then probably need to dial up what I eat, because I know I had a sensation back then, and I'm really dialed in now. What foods help my energy, what foods hindered my energy. Like lean, clean veggies, kale, smoothies, stuff like that, helps my energy. Other foods tag my energy. Donuts, breads, you probably know what I'm talking about. Those kind of things. So it's just dialing that in. So what is a habit or two you would start right away if you want to get in the best health of your year or best health for next year? Like start today right after our session, tomorrow morning. What is that for you? I love this next question. What could you do on an ongoing basis to help yourself renew and recover from stress more often? So take some time, maybe shut your eyes. I'm going to say that again. What could you do on an ongoing basis to help yourself renew more often and recover from stress? The highest performers, they're like, you know what? Especially in sports, recovery is everything. But in life, just playing the game of life, the highest performers, they know their recovery routines. So to give you a great illustration, for me, if I'm working diligently 2-3 hours, I'll take a break in the middle of that. Usually it's every 50 to 75 minutes. And I'll go for a small walk, do a lot of that, get some steps, get out, energize, oxygenate, and then I'll set some intention. I'll reflect on what I've done. Is it all along the path of what I'm going after? And then I'll come back in and continue, more energized. But just the art of reflection and saying, I'm grateful for what I've done so far today, that helps me recover and renew. Does that all make sense? It might seem simple, but that's the reality of that. So I hope that helps. So let me go through an exercise with you. And I think this will really help you just have an idea of what you can do to practice. It may seem a little weird, but the very first part of this is to calm your mind and your body down, and then we energize it and bring it up. So I'd love for you, if you're up for it, go ahead and stand up. And what we're going to do is release, meditate, which is incredibly simple. We're going to do it for like 20 seconds. And then we're going to bring energy into our body through oxygenation, just standing in one place. That all make sense? So here we go. Release meditation is where we'll shut our eyes, take a deep breath, and we'll just say release, release, release. Now I'm going to not say it, but I want you to say it in your mind. Release, release. Release, release. I don't know if you felt that, but that was 15, 10, 20 seconds, somewhere in there. But do you feel different energetically right now? Like just the release. And I love release meditation because the word release, like just release the stress, release the thoughts, just get to this place. Now what we can do is an energizing exercise we like to call breath scaling. I'm only going to do a little bit of it. This can be tricky for people who don't oxygenate a lot, meaning run or exercise, stuff like that. But the concept is, in standing in one place, you kind of get in position. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm put my legs apart like this, and I bent my knees a little bit. And so what we're trying to do is scale up our breath and scale it down inside of 60 seconds. I'm only going to do a short version of it. So I'm going to do maybe 15 breaths. In the middle, it'll be at a more intense breath. By then, we'll be back down to normal breathing. If you get dizzy or anything, then you need to sit down. But the idea is we're just trying to bring oxygen in your body and force it in. And just the oxygenation helps us feel more energized. Does that all make sense? Let's give it a go. We did 8 breaths, and I feel buzz going on. Just 8. So literally what we did is we took our energy down, release meditation, brought our energy up through a really small dose of what we call breath scaling. And it's just that. Imagine if throughout your day, you just took some time, 5-minute break, to reflect, hey, how am I doing today? And you reflect on those words that we talked about. Have I been present? Have I been caring? Have I been compassionate? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to set an intention to release some energy, recover from stress, whatever that is, and then really rejuvenate. So release, meditate, a little bit of breath scaling. Looks silly, yeah, I know, but it helps. And then step into the next time block, the next hour, with clear intention on what you're trying to accomplish. I would even challenge you to think about how you want to feel while you're working in the next hour. And if you're like, I'm going to feel like crap. No. How am I going to feel that I'm going to feel energized and loving and positive? So at the end of that hour, I am on fire. And then go into another release meditation, another oxygenation, another just reflection, and then setting of intention. See, a lot of people, they go through their days and it just feels like zombies in the Matrix. It's robotic. But I can tell you, and I will challenge you, that you're not taking those breaks to re-energize, reset, think about, reflect, just things that we know from high performance principles that really help us feel more connection to our day. So at the end of our day, we're like, yeah, did great today. I feel good. Does that help? Really, really powerful. So a couple other give me's from an energy perspective. Just try doubling your hydration with water throughout the day. That's helped me big time, got rid of a lot of my dull headaches. Try sleeping 30 minutes more a night. Just try it for a few days, see if you feel better. These are just things self-reported people have shared for me that have really helped them build sustained energy. Big part of our high performance conversation. Another one is try eating more nutrient-rich food more often. So this would be like stepping away from beige foods like breads, those kind of things, living into more colored foods like green, veggies, fruits, sweet potatoes, those kind of things. Just want to give you some kind of insight and ideas of what, through all the sessions I've done, these are what people have self-reported that really help them build energy. So that being said, we've covered two of what's in high performance habits, clarity and energy. Would love for you to take a moment and assess what is it that's helped you the most in line of what we've done so far. What are you committed to? Anything? Let's see what we got here in terms of time. I think we're rocking it out. Oh yeah, 45 minutes in. We got about, 30 minutes left. Love it. Totally taking care of it. I just want to celebrate with you that we are crushing, just touching the rim of what's possible. And maybe you've been in high performance or whatever. My challenge for you is to assess how you've been doing in these areas. Because the common thing in high performance, especially when you think about consistently over the long term, is like, oh, I totally forgot about that. Got to introduce those breaks. I got to rejuvenate, reset, bring energy. And I got to own that. Does that make sense? Fantastic. Next up is courage. This is where things can get a little questionable for some. Because here's what we know. When we get clear about what we're going after, we have appropriate levels of energy. Just those two things, the people around us can freak out a little bit. Like, why are you changing? What are you up to? And sometimes, and actually it's a lot of the times, they will sabotage or help you sabotage your success in those areas. Does that make sense? Let me give you an illustration. So when I got clear early on, this was in my first marriage, when I got clear on what I was going after and I started getting the coaching, my ex-wife said, why are you doing that? You don't need coaching. I'm like, oh, I need coaching. And then she was trying to just peel me back into the life that I was living before without coaching, right? But it was through coaching that I was able to understand the formula for change, which was pivotal to me handling my divorce from a very, very great place of ambition. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot of emotion and struggle. And I got a video on YouTube, it's called How to Tell If It's Time to End a Relationship, where I teach the formula for change and I go over that whole story. I'll link to it in the replay, but also just go into YouTube and type how to tell if it's time to end a relationship, Charly Caldwell, and you'll see it pop right up. But that was a pivotal piece. But I got to tell you, I had to be courageous when I was having that conversation. Does that make sense? So my dream, desire, goal for you is you go for something and you see the people that are in your circles trying to bring you back down. And you're like, peeps, I got this. So with that frame, let's dive into courage. Here's the first question. In general, do you feel you're speaking up enough for yourself and your ideas in life? Do you feel you express your true self and what you want enough? I know that was a lot. Take a moment, maybe shut your eyes, listen as we go through this. In general, do you feel you're speaking up enough for yourself and your ideas in life? Do you feel you express your true self and what you want enough? I would say 95% of people. Now, you probably know some people who will classify themselves as unfiltered. I do speak up, I do say it, and it's usually offensive to others. That's what I've heard from people I've coached. Only a small segment. But most people are like, you know what? No, I don't share my ideas with anybody. Well, the highest performers do share their ideas, and they share them with enthusiasm and love. And generally their ideas, and I want to frame this for you, are about helping people improve their lives somehow. In the work that I do in the entrepreneurial space, it's helping entrepreneurs improve their life, but it's also helping them grow their business somehow. And they're very expressive about it. And they have come to terms with what we like classify in this beautiful book, The 4 Agreements, the second agreement, don't take anything personally, which is a tall order because humans want to do that. That's how we're engineered. And they just share openly. But they're not sharing to negative and neutral ends. They're sharing for positive growth. Does that all make sense? So I just want to make sure we frame that for you. Do you feel you express your true self and what you want enough? So I'd like to take a moment here and just kind of assess, what is it that you want? What are your true feelings? What do you need to speak up for right now? Like the moment the session's done, or if somebody's around you, like pause this video if you're watching the replay or whatever, gotta talk. I gotta express this. I gotta be courageous. What conversation has not happened that needs to? Is there anything there for you? If you need help thinking about how to even open the doorway for that conversation, please let me know. I've got videos that will help you. I can get on a discovery call. We can go through that together. We can kind of role play it. Like here's the best practice for that through what we're teaching and encourage, but also in influence and in love and purpose, these kind of things. I hope you're sensing this. If you see so far in our journey that these things are important for you for the future, especially as we go into the next decade, you're like, dude, I'm falling apart. We're only encouraged. I need some help. Then we've got you there too. Just know that it's my job on this planet is to help you be better, live into high performance, to be your best self, but also to find that and evolve from that, meaning level up and grow. So I hope this conversation's helping. Second question for you. Are there any areas of your life where you feel you could be taking more bold action? So I'll say that again. Are there any areas of your life where you feel you could be taking more bold action? And if so, what is that? What's the area? What's the 1, 2, or 3 things that you need to do? And maybe you don't know the answers, so you got to think about it, sort it out, to really take more bold, decisive action in your life. Anything there for you? So a lot of things that come up is like, you know what? I got to get off my butt and go after that entrepreneurial dream. Keep in mind that I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And they're like, I know the intention of what I have, and I got clear on that. And if you look at that as an intention dial, we'll call it, and it's a dial of 10 out of 10, like I'm clear on what I got to go after, then right next to that intention dial is an action dial. And they're taking 1 out of 10 action on their intentions. Yeah, the courage to just go after it. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I'm not going to do it. We teach in high performance in our session, loss pain, process pain, outcome pain, all these things that hinder us from growing and going after things. We're going to lose something important to us. The outcome's not going to be what we want. The process is going to stink. It's too much work, that kind of stuff. But if you really want it, you deal with those pains. You're like, no, I'm going after it. Final question and courage. If you're going to feel more confident in life, what negative beliefs would you have to stop having? What positive beliefs would you have to adopt or amplify? So if you're going to feel more confident in life, what negative beliefs would you have to stop having? What positive beliefs would you have to adopt or amplify? So this is kind of the yin and the yang. So many people have limiting negative beliefs. Sometimes they were just instilled from when they were kids. They didn't even recognize that's their lens or their filter and how they view the world. Like, can't do that. So my thing is the opposite. But a lot of people are like, my parents told me, you can't do that. You could never do that. That's not possible for you. Whether it's building something or doing, going after an endeavor, you can't do that mentality, that belief. So my beautiful grandpa, was a guy who was all about, if the humans built it, we can figure it out. So that was a positive belief. And then he would just get out his books and learn and Popular Mechanics and his Home Depot book and all this stuff and sort out the mechanics of something to fix it or whatever that would be. But he instilled in me a positive belief that if a human built it, we can figure it out. And that belief has propelled part of my success for life. So I'm going to say that question one more time because this is really critical for you. If you're going to feel more confident in life, what negative beliefs would you have to stop having? What positive beliefs would you have to adopt or amplify? That all make sense? So I want to do this really powerful teaching point. And in order to do it, if you really want to get activated and engaged, go ahead and stand up. Really sense the ground beneath you. Just get in it, maybe shut your eyes, just sense the ground beneath you. I'm going to walk through this exercise and I really want you to feel it. So imagine your most courageous self standing next to you and coaching you. So right here, you got your most courageous self standing next to you and coaching you. As if you could see your strongest self next to you, a strong, happy future you. You sense that? Got you right here. Maybe on the left side, you see me standing there, smiling. Got this, man. Got this, girl. We're going after it. Now, based on what you've thought about or shared in this section, courage, is there someone specific you may have been avoiding a difficult conversation with? Is there someone you've not really been fully honest with, shared what you need, had a tough conversation with, or even forgiven? If your most courageous self was standing next to you right now and coaching you, what would your most courageous self say to you when you speak to that person next? Does that all make sense? So often when I'm in the when I have to command courage, have to be courageous, I just sit down and I'm like, okay, my most courageous self. And I visualize Brendan, the master coach, him here going, Char, you got this. We're going to crush it. What do you need to do? What is your best self going to say from a place, and we'll go back to our words, of presence, of care, compassion. I'll add a few more. Unconditional love, growth, these kind of things, right? I hope you sense the power here. I hope you're feeling it. I can't thank you enough for being here with me right now as we really talk this through. To assure, and I'm getting chills just telling you this, clarity, energy, courage, and we're just touching the rim. So if you love what we're doing, if you're feeling any kind of growth, there's a ton more from where that came from. Would love to help you, serve you, take care of you. Got a couple options for you. We got the high performance application below. We can schedule a discovery call. You can get into our group coaching work. There's all kinds of options for you just to make sure you're on your path. If you're sensing any of this and you want more of it, we got you. Take care of you. Love on you, care for you, support you from a place of openness, growth for better tomorrows. How does that feel? Good? All right. What do we have? About 20 minutes left. So let's go ahead and dive into the next topic. Remember, we talked clarity, energy, courage, productivity. Now remember, the frame of productivity and high performance is that we're clear about our life's ambitions, our life's goals, and we're also clear on our responsibilities, and we're going after our life's goals and our responsibilities, taking care of our responsibilities every day. But we're also, even if we don't have time, we're thinking about our life's ambitions, reconnecting with them emotionally. That's what the high performance planner helps you with. That's what the one-page productivity plan that we teach from in the actual session of this in the bigger coaching realm sets up this sheet every day you fill out that reassesses your life's goals, reassesses who you need to reach out to, who you're waiting on towards the life goals, and reassesses your priorities for the day that don't have to be necessarily related to your life's work. This is just the stuff you got to get done today. Does that all make sense? So a lot of people that are really productive, I'm so productive, I get stuff done. I ask them, but do you have your life stuff in the mix? Do you assess and go after your life's ambitions, your life's work, and whatever that would be in their context? Most of them are like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So that's the premise for this. So let's go ahead. First question. Are you happy with your levels of focus and productivity each day? Why or why not? What could you do to improve them? So I'm going to say that one more time. Maybe shut your eyes, just really listen, think through. Are you happy with your levels of focus and productivity each day? Why or why not? What could you do to improve them? Anything coming up? A couple things, and I want to give you some quick illustrations. One, so many people have notifications turned on their computers, on their phones. So they're working away and they're getting into that deep motive kick buttness, and then beep, pulls them right out of. Just to get back into it takes a lot of energy. So my challenge for those people, and if that happens to be you, put D&D on. You can turn notifications off on a Mac, on a Windows computer, on your phone. At least give yourself the time to go after what Cal Newport teaches in deep work. Deep, uninterrupted work where you give yourself, let's just say 30 to 50 minutes to really go into a project, into something you're passionate about, or into a task you got to complete with full presence and connection and focus. That all make sense? You up for that challenge? Oh, I hope so. Second question here. What distracts you the most? What could you do to remove or deal with it better? So I'm going to say it again. What distracts you the most? What could you do to remove or deal with it better? Anything there for you? What distracts you the most? What could you do to remove or deal with it better? I can think of a bazillion things people have shared with me as I've gone through these sessions. And the number one thing, I'll get it out, that piece of glass. It's engineered to hit levels of dopamine and all this, to rock it out for you. Big thing to make sure is to own the conversation around, you know what? These are my distractors, and I'm going to turn off notifications. I'm going to sort that out, and I'm going to go after that higher level of awesome as I move forward. Does that all make sense? I hope so. All right. Take a moment and think about, this is the live thing, you got people coming. Take a moment and think about the levels of productivity in your life. I'll be right back.
Hi, Charly.
Hello. Good. Third and final question here. Do you have habits that are moving you towards your goals each week that are really working? So, third question, productivity. Take some time with this. Do you have habits that are moving you towards your goals each week that are really working? And I hope in the context for what I've done, that we've engineered sort of the lay of the land for that. And I'll give you the pieces of it. Kind of a teachable point for you is the idea that you're sitting down and reflecting periodically throughout your day, but that you've taken time in the front end to think about these goals, these ambitions, these dreams you have for the big future. Does that all make sense? That you're going after them, really owning it. So what is that for you? If you feel like sharing, go ahead. If you're watching the replay, share. If you're like, I don't have goals and I need some, or I want to feel, they talk about this in that beautiful book, 5 Regrets of the Dying. I need to have more of this. Then we got to sort that out for you. So that when you look back at the end of your life, are you happy with the progress you made, both personally and professionally? And if you're not, and if you do that visualization, it's called the Dan Sullivan question, by the way. What do we need to pivot or change to go after it? Does that all make sense? Awesome. So time for another high performance exercise. I would love for you, starting tomorrow morning at work, to not check your email in the first hour of the day. If you can't do it tomorrow, do it the next day. Give yourself that time to immerse yourself in what you want to do for the day. Set the schedule, go after that. Make sure that you focus on the strategy for your day. If you need some help with that, I got links below. The High Performance Planner will help you structure that. What we're aiming for from the high performance perspective is that we're giving more feeling, more presence, more direction in each day, layered with what we talked about earlier, that drive towards bigger goals, ambitions, and living. So the easiest way to I'll just simplify this all the way down for you, is to think about and answer the Dan Sullivan question. At the end of my life, looking back, what would I have to feel to be happy with my progress, both personally and professionally? What is that? Okay, maybe some things come up for you. Now, what are my top 2 or 3 ambitions or goals that I need to maybe think through or strategize or envision? Okay, now how can I bring them into my week. One of the things we teach in high performance is that idea of having time blocks where you just take 30 minutes to 50 minutes, and maybe it's just thinking through the goal, not really moving forward with it, like the strategy and vision of it. Does that all make sense? And then getting into your priorities and the things you got to do today. It's a twist for a lot of people. A lot of people are like, I don't have time for that. Well, we all have the same amount of time, and certain people on this planet are doing it and feeling better, vibrance, vitality, energy for life. Other people, not so much. They're kind of reacting to life. So my challenge for you right now is this. Are you reacting to life? Are you in what we call agency? Do you have agency in life? Are you in command of your life, or is your life in command of you? And maybe it's different in different roles of your life. But take some time tomorrow. Don't check in with the world. Just check in with yourself. Set the intention, the vision, the strategy to lay out your day and go after it. You up for that challenge? Oh, just do it for 2 days. Assess, if you want to drop me a note or a comment, whatever it is, assess how that showed up for you and if it pivoted the way you felt about your day. The biggest thing that most people feel when they do that work is they're like, I felt in a better sensation of having more calm, less stress, less overwhelm in my day, just because I had the time in the morning to just think through how I was going to show up. I love this question, and it's in the planner as well. What could throw me off today? What could throw me off? As I look over my schedule of all the things I got to do, what could throw me off today? And then think, okay, how am I going to handle that? Like you've just envisioned, it's going to throw me off? Cool, I got that. For a lot of people who are very reactive, that's a really powerful exercise towards that endeavor of going after, command and control of their day. And some people, they live in such a chaotic, and maybe that's you, such a chaotic way of living, that can be a huge, huge, huge breakthrough for them. So that's the productivity piece. So far, we've covered courage. Let's start at the beginning. Clarity, energy, courage, productivity. Now we're going to dive into influence, and then we're going to wrap up the strategy session. Would love for you to assess, in line of everything we've covered so far, any breakthroughs, insights, thoughts. What have you loved about our journey so far? I would also challenge you to assess, do you feel you need more of this in your life? And if you do, let's get on a discovery call. Just message me. Let's get you into a group coaching program if that will help you. If you feel this is just touching the rim of this stuff, we go ultra deep. If you feel that, if you want to get into that, apply. There's an application below. Just let me know how I can serve, help you to feel more clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence, and so many of the other topics that we have. I hope you're sensing this. I hope you're feeling the growth and loving it. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into influence. First question, do you feel you have enough influence at work? And if you don't work at home, why or why not? What could you do to have more influence? Now, I really want to make sure we paint the frame for you, and I'll read that question again. Influence is helping others to their benefit. Manipulation is helping you to your benefit. Like there's a dial there. Is this benefiting me? Only me? And I'm trying to manipulate other people to just do what I want them to do? Or is what I'm sharing bettering their life, their business, their world? And I'm getting a benefit from it as well, of just living into who I am. Sometimes in high performance, we call that servant leadership, taking care of others so we can take care of ourselves. I think Zig Ziglar had a quote around that. The goal on this planet is to help others, because if you help others, the world will help you. You follow? So I'm going to read that question one more time. Do you feel you have enough influence at work? And if you don't work at home, why or why not? What could you do to have more influence? Anything showing up? So a couple people that I've coached kind of summed this up real nice and tidy for us. They said, you know what? To have more influence, I need to share more about what goals, desires, dreams I have. To have more influence, I need to ask for help. Because in the help process, I'm going to help them grow. Like it's a co-creation. So if you have your notes out, write this down. People support what they create. That's a big principle in high performance influence. So when I go into a meeting, for example, to have more influence, for 20 some years, I was going into meetings like, guys, we're going to cover this. This is what we're going to go over. This is our agenda. Now when I go into a meeting, from the people support and getting influence, if you want to rank influence in a meeting, I ask, hey guys, here's kind of what I want to go over today. Let's go around the room and make sure we got it all. And we'll handle everything we got on our plate. And I have a whiteboard or a flip chart and I just write out, here's the things I want to go over, here's the things you want to go over. And then we go around the room and just co-create, talk about the struggle, the challenge, frustration, and co-create solutions. It's a whole different kind of meeting. People come out of the meetings, they feel like they had input, they feel like they were heard, they were loved, they are clear on directives. Does that all make sense? There's an openness in the communication. I facilitate that. That's different than the way I used to operate. So if there's anything there for you, I'd love for you to share. Yeah, I need to co-create. How does that look? So let me know if there's a specific example. We can talk through it. Next, who would you like to be even better role model for? One of the things we teach in high performance influence is the highest performers are really great role models. They're congruent with what they say. Does that all make sense? So think about that for a minute. Kind of maybe close your eyes, think about who would you like to be a better role model for? So many people are like, it's my son, it's my daughter, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's my best friend, it's their best friend, da 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 da. Follow? Third, if you were going to make your greatest difference in life, what would you really have to commit to right now? So let's just slow this down a little bit. Take a moment. Really think this through. This is a really powerful question. If you're going to make your greatest difference in life, what would you really have to commit to right now? Anything there for you? So a couple illustrations for you. One, a lot of people are like, I got to assess, are the things that I'm watching with my family, my friends, my husband, my wife, are they setting a negative tone or a neutral tone? Or am I learning new things? So a couple people I've coached are like, we binge watch these Netflix shows, I don't know the names of them, but like shows that are just entertainment. And now what we do is we binge watch YouTube videos of people living a full life. It's a whole different experience for us because it helps us in ambition. It's an adventure. So a couple examples, Kara and Nate on YouTube, search for them. Yelena and Riley, Sailing La Vagabond. They sail around the world and they call it vlogging, video log their journeys. So that's what we do, like the girls and I. When we're watching things, we're like, hey guys, let's watch this adventure. I never thought about going there. I never even knew that you could do what's called free dive, which means you don't have like anything but a snorkel and you go down 10, 20 meters just on a breath. It's crazy. I'm like, I don't even know if I could. I'm thinking of a pool that's 5 feet deep and laying in the bottom of it, and I'm like, my ears are popping. But there's a way you can learn to free dive, to go down that low without blowing out your ears or your lungs. I'm like, didn't know about that. But Elena and Riley showed us that's possible. And then they actually have an episode where they are at a place that teaches free diving. So that became a new ambition. That all make sense? So I always look at it like this. We can spend moments in time, especially if it's cyclical, meaning we do this routinely, learning, growing, going after ambition, or we can spend moments in time just watching entertainment, which can be fun and good. But I just question, like, what's going to help us for the long term so when we look back on our life, we just don't have any regrets. Does that all make sense? So that being said, the teachable point from influence is the next time, maybe tonight, tomorrow, you're out to dinner with somebody you care for, whether it's a significant other, a friend or that, really concentrate on listening and inspiring. Maybe you ask a few great questions. So what are you up to? What's important to you in life right now? When was a time in your life you felt the most loved? These kind of things. And then sharing your story, right? Maybe answering those questions for them. You follow? Phones away, pocketed, turned on D&D, whatever it is. Full presence, full engagement, full joy, full confidence. Does that all make sense? So with that being said, we've gone through clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence. I hope something in our journey today, in this session, moved the needle for you. and I want to make sure we're taking care of you. So if there's anything I can do to help you in these areas or with a certain situation, struggle, challenge you have right now, know this, I'm here for you. I'm so clear on that. I've been very clear on that for many years. People who know me know that. And if there's anything I do, comment below, fill out the application, let me know. If you think high performance can help you, there's a couple options there I've gone over. 1, fill out our application. 2, we can schedule a discovery call. If you're not up for those things, that's totally cool. I would challenge you to get and read High Performance Habits. And as a matter of fact, if you want it, I will gift it to you. I will gift it to you either Kindle or hardcover. Make sure that you have it so that you at least have the essence and some great prompts and great challenges to go after that. I didn't get to go over this, and I'm going to go over it now. But when I got clear on what my job is on this planet, it comes down to these 5 Ps. It's to help you live with more purpose, to define it, to be that, kind of connects to what we talked about in productivity. It's to help you live with more passion, more enthusiasm, more energy. I hope you're sensing that from me. It's to help you live with more positivity, more joy, more engagement. It's also to help you live productively in the context for what we shared. To be clear about your life's goals and the things you want to accomplish in life, but also to be clear about your responsibilities and handle those too. And as part of my entrepreneurial work, if those 4 things are aligned, so often we can live profitably as well. Meaning that we're taking care of our break-even expenses, we've got money to have fun with, and we're paying down debt or saving for the future too. That being said, I can't thank you enough for being here with me. There's links below to help you along the path of what we've talked through, and I would love to support you, take care of you, and I can't wait to see what you do with what we've done. If you have any breakthroughs or things that you try from our session today, please do share with me. Would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Have an awesome one. We rocked it. So powerful.